Now we come to our final quickfire round called Scenes We'd Like to See. This is for everyone, so if you can all make your way over to the performance area, please. I caught ideas for scenarios we'd love to see, and the performers come in with their suggestions. Right, here we go. The first subject is things you wouldn't hear from a weather forecaster.
The Met Office have issued a weather warning. They've told the weather not to do that again, or there'll be trouble.
Temperatures could rise to 31 degrees. Shit, I've left my baby in the car!
A hurricane tonight will be caused by low pressure and God's hatred of homosexuality.
A huge depression over Scotland, and now the weather.
And finally, a warning to hay fever sufferers. Don't come sneezing near me or I'll rip your face off. So, here's the summary. Monday shite, Tuesday shite, Wednesday shite, Thursday bollocks.
The humidity's rising. The barometer's going low. Tonight, for the first time, just about 10:30, it's going to start raining men.
The outlook's bright for the weekend. I've got 3 grams of coke in my pocket and my wife's on holiday.
Well, let's go to Carol on the roof of Television Centre. She's not meant to be there. She's just a bit depressed.
This part of the country is going to stay hot and wet for quite some time because that's where my girlfriend lives. Oh, yeah.
So, it's going to be between 17 and 21, but Berlusconi won't date older than that.
It was raining cats and dogs last night.
I should know. I was throwing them off my roof. What are you watching me for? Look out the fucking window.
It's going to be cloudier tonight. I love those German birds.
What do you care what the weather's going to be like? You look shit in all your clothes.
The next topic is deleted lines from Star Trek.
Kirk to Enterprise. OK, how about if I stand over here?
Scotty, that's the most convincing your accent has ever been.
Captain, I can see an alien ship approaching. It's not showing up on the radar. It's a circular vessel, some sort of lettering and number... Oh, no, sorry, it's my tax disc. I have no emotion. My mother was a Vulcan. My father was Gordon Brown.
All right, which one of you ate my Scotch egg?
This is the Federation of Gay Planets. Open your docking bay and prepare to be boarded.
Tell you what, Spock, your towel is a lot softer than mine.
Captain's log. Just seen some aliens. OMG. WTF. LOL. Smiley face.
Who are these terrifying aliens? You can't call them that anymore, Captain. It's Uhuru and Sulu.
Welcome to the SS Enterprise, Mr. Eccleston.
Now, which one of you put your red top in the washing with all the yellow ones?
There's going to be some changes around here. They call me Captain Tatty Bojangles.
What's wrong, Captain Picard? What's wrong? I'm a serious Shakespearean actor, and I'm talking to the ambassador of the fucking worm people!
Unlikely things to hear on a survival show.
I was first taught to eat in the bush by a French girl I went out with at university.
To get the fish, break the ice, jump the checkout, and run!
Not only is this lake good for fish, but we can also put a body in it.
Using excrement, mud and twigs, they've made primitive bedding here at the Premier Travel Lodge.
I'm in the Congo. Let's settle this once and for all. Do you boys like umbungo?
Here I am in the jungle. The mighty jungle. I win my way, I win my way, I win...
But who are the truly civilized? Is it the Mbupi tribe, or is it us, with our books, our medicine, and our internet? Oh, yes, it's us.
Of course, food is a scarce and valuable resource to these tribespeople. So I've just bagged myself 2 nights with this fella's wife for a Twix.
You know, Ant and Dec think that their jungle's pretty tough. Well, they joined me today. There was no food, so I ate them.
The villagers get up early and walk 5 miles to fetch clean water every day, which begs the question, why not move the village closer?
The strong, powerful sun is making me sweat. Oh, shit, here comes his dad.
I've been living in these woods for 3 weeks now, but that's what happens if you're married to the Home Secretary and she catches you watching porn.
I'm Bear Grylls, and this is my brother, Wolf Stir Fry.
I've just achieved my life's ambition of climbing Everest with no food and no equipment. Now do you love me, Daddy? Now do you love me?
OK, the next topic is unlikely things to read on a packet.
Ragu sauce. If you gave this to someone who is actually from Italy, they'd punch you in the face.
To open, push down tab, break tab, swear repeatedly, stab with a pair of scissors!
Serves 4, you greedy bastard. Now put some of that back.
Viagra are proud sponsors of Andy Murray, for people who can only ever achieve a semi.
Bag may also be used for autoerotic asphyxiation.
Fair trade coffee. If you don't like it, you're racist.
Sunny Delight counts towards your 5 a day as -2.
To stop diarrhea, take 1 teaspoon and shove it up your arse.
Adults and children over 12 years. Try not to get those 2 mixed up.
Cup of soup. Just add soup.
Best before date, Rohypnol.
Serving suggestion. On a plate, you thick moron.
We use only the very cheapest horse meat to make fuck it, it's just a cat.
Deleted lines from a fantasy film.
I am Aragorn, son of Arathorn, the heir to Isildur and part of the Fellowship of the Ring. Please leave a message after the tone.
Ron had been suffering from swine flu and people were avoiding him. Luckily, he was ginger and he was used to it.
I don't know why you're so upset, Harry. The original Dumbledore died 3 films ago and no one gave a shit.
Did you find Narnia in the wardrobe? No, Edmund. We found your porn stash.
My friends, we will never hear the word Mordor again. Taggart has been cancelled.
No, Harry, it's not a 5-headed dog. It's girls allowed. Me.
I am Aslan, formed by the merger of Asda and Matalan.
We had only been there for a day, but to us it felt like 15 years. That's Birmingham.
Did you honestly think I could be defeated by someone younger? I am Arlene Phillips!
Welcome to Mordor, twinned with Swansea.
This will never work, Frodo.
In the wardrobe, we found a magical compartment that led to the Fritzl family.
He stole it from me, my precious! Oh, no, it's in my pocket.
You all right, John? How's it going, all right? Yeah. How's the kids? All right? See you later.
I'm not a dwarf, I'm a lesbian.
The next topic is things you don't want to hear from your flatmate.
That's my milk in the fridge. I squeeze it out of my tits with a vice.
No, we can't share the electricity bill. I've got a phone charger and a laptop, and you're on a life support machine.
My last flat was just like Friends. Have you seen the one where Joey kills everybody?
I love talking to you. With you, I can
Be my real self.
There's just two of us. Well, three if you count God.
I'd give it 10 minutes in the toilet if I were you. That one could talk.
Well, if you don't think I'm a nosy bastard, why did you write that in your diary?
Oh, that's just a novelty shower gel in the shape of a webcam.
Hey, you said there wasn't enough room to swing a cat. Look at this. Loads of room.
Oh, a Mr. G had called. He says it's time.
I don't see why I should pay for half the loo roll when I never use any.
I'll tell you what, that Hoover is powerful.
OK, there's one certain way to find out who ate my yoghurt: an AIDS test.
Unlikely things to hear on a consumer programme.
I'm Adrian Childs, and I was shocked by the new Shrek film. I've not been paid for it, yet I seem to be starring in it.
Consumer scams are on the increase. If you'd like to find out how to stop them, send us your name and address, your date of birth, and your mother's maiden name.
I've just found out my jumper was made by Indian slave children. Can I just say they did a wonderful job?
Next, we speak to Barbara, who was devastated when she bought Daniel Bedingfield tickets that turned out to be genuine.
At first, the company seemed willing to compromise. Then we sent them a letter from Nicky Campbell, and they told us to fuck off.
I won't be on this show next week because I'm going off to Nigeria to pick up my lottery winnings.
Last week, we said that we were going to expose London's security scene. This week, we say, there's been a misunderstanding. Could I please have my kids back?
On closer inspection, Mrs. Wilkins, your hamster's jacuzzi would appear to be a food blender.
Hey, I'm Nicky Campbell, and I've been ploughing through the usual 5 sacks of hate mail to find this letter complaining about washing powder.
Today, as I stand before you penniless in the last clothes I own, we ask, is divorce biased in favour of the greedy bitch who left me?
We got there, the weather were crap, the food were crap, the locals were racist. What a bloody brilliant holiday!
Of the half-dozen condoms we tested, all but 2 burst in my stomach.
I'm Anne Robinson, and without plastic surgery, I'd look like E.T.'s balls.
OK, the next topic is things a sports commentator would never say.
Oh, they've called in the video referee. Which is better, Alien or Predator?
Oh, yes, and that's a beautiful uppercut. And another one. But, hey, the DJ is still not going to change the track for Steven Gerrard.
Jimmy White holding up the cue there as he collapses at the Telenod bins.
Welcome to Robot Wars. Cruncher, ready! Stephen Hawkins, ready.
And England have won the Ashes.
It's the women's 100 metres final, and from left to right, it's no, no, yes, maybe, from behind. Definitely not.
The Queen smashes Camilla in the face and Prince Philip hits her with a hammer. This is what I call a Royal Rumble.
Venus Williams has brought something different to the ladies' game. Male genitalia.
Oh, he's great with a dead ball. When I had one, I had to sit down for a week.
And I think that massive widescreen close-up of the wedgie goes some way to explaining why we don't normally televise judo.
And that bloody smear is the reason you don't see a lot of streakers in Formula 1.
Some people on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now. The Chinese secret police have shot them.
Well, he's finally got his head down. His hands are firmly round the shaft. Which is why I'm handing over to John Infidel.
Overpaid knocks it on to overrated on to possible rapist knocks it forward, closet gay, goal!
Unlikely lines from a thriller.
Michael, Peter, David, Vladimir, I think we may have a spy in the organisation.
Give me the pentagon, then the triangle, and then the square.
Pussy galore, Bond here. I've been told by my doctor that I need to contact all previous partners.
The owner of this motel dresses up as his mother and stabs people. But the guidebook says it's still better than the Ibis.
I want you to go to Warsaw, meet a man called Borislav. You'll then ask him why he didn't fix my plumbing before he left for home.
Miss Scarlett looked at him through the window. He had one massive testicle like a space hopper. That was why they called him Professor Plum.
This is no ordinary pen, Bond. Turn it upside down, the woman's clothes drop off and you can see her tits.
Red or green, which do I cut? Come on, they're only peppers. How long is this salad going to take?
We need to find the third man. There's no way Amanda Holden will shag just 2 of us.
Here's Simon.
The Orient Express has been cancelled. However, there was a murder on the temporary Orient replacement bus.
I have amnesia.
The tattoos on my body will tell me what happened. Dara was here.
I'd been a serial killer for 4 years, but they'd never given me a nickname. Then, you bite one guy in the ass, and suddenly you're the butt muncher.
Ah, the butt muncher's got me! The butt muncher's got me!
OK, the next topic is bad things to say at a wedding.
I do. Don't worry, the vows are simple. Just repeat after me. Eeny, meeny, macaracka, rare, ride, dominaka, chicka-bocka, lollipop, rom-pom, push.
And we will now sing hymn number 225. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
When John went down on one knee, I wish I'd known that he was having a stroke.
I'd like to thank Elsie for the flowers. It was her funeral I nicked them from.
So your best man's in an absolute state. That's my mum.
Now, it's my job to tell some amusing stories about Gavin. So, first of all, for a kick-off, he's a hermaphrodite.
My bride always wears white. Isn't that right, Dolly? Bah!
Now, Carol's family have always had their doubts about me. So, first of all, let me explain why I'm naked.
This is my first gay wedding, so you must be the pretty one.
To my new son-in-law, I would say this. You have released me. This monster is yours now.
I would like to apologise for the state of my clothes and the smell of sick only I spent last night in a skip. Anyway, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today.
People have said to me, why have you stopped being a bachelor after so long? And I say, well, look at her. She's wealthy and she's dying.
It wouldn't be a traditional Norfolk wedding without a speech from the father of the bride and groom.
Bad things to hear at the psychiatrist.
I don't want you to think of me as a psychiatrist. I want you to think of me as a mental patient who killed the psychiatrist before you got here.
You think you are a potato? On the couch, please.
Welcome to your first session of Freudian analysis. What seems to be the penis?
Well, you say that you're paranoid, but I have a report here that says you looked very relaxed in the bath this morning.
Oh, yes, I can see why you fancy your mother. She's something of a fox.
I see you've tried to commit suicide 5 times. Your dad was right. You are useless.
You've been coming here for 6 months to talk about your trust issues. Well, we've been filming you for Britain's nuttiest bastards.
Yes, I think your parents caused you problems from a very early age, Clitorina.
Your thoughts that you're horrifically unattractive are all in your mind, Mr. Johnson.
OK, word association. I'm going to say a word, and I want you to say the first thing that pops into your breasts.
Wow, that's really interesting. Do you mind if I use some of this stuff as lyrics for my band?
You have emotional problems and a below-average IQ. I'm prescribing Hollyoaks.
Oh, that's a classic dream. It means you're a paedophile.
I want you to go to your happy place. Judging by the size of you, that's probably Greg's.
Hypnosis could certainly help with your intimacy issues. While you were unconscious, I rested my nuts on your head.
The next topic is unlikely things to hear on a TV talent show.
2007's winner, Leon Jackson, is still selling records in his Saturday job at HMV Paisley.
Of course it's not a freak show. Now get your Siamese twin asses on that stage and you nail Papa, don't preach.
Two crosses light up and the crowd cheers as Stavros Flatley are crucified in flames.
Hello, I'm Rita. I'm 87, and I'm going to do Keep You Up with me boobs. Here we go. Hey! I'm like bloody Ronaldo! Look at me go!
OK, you're right. I don't really have any talent, but I'm kind of cute, and I'm Kylie Minogue's sister, for God's sake.
What a hilarious singing dog Susan Boyle is.
When you said you were going to saw a woman in half, I thought you were a magician.
Oh, my family aren't going to believe it when they see me on TV. They think I'm dead.
Hello, I'm Susan Boyle, and I would like to say hello to my brother, Frankie.
Susan Boyle is not related to me. None of my relatives will ever manage to chisel their way out of that cellar.
I am an escapologist. Today, I have escaped from Broadmoor.
Next on ITV4, it's ITV3's coverage of ITV2's making-of documentary about the coverage on ITV4.
Hello, I'm Billy Cock, and this is my partner, Brian Balls, and together we are Billy and Brian.
Behold, my magical racist cat. They come over here, they steal our bloody jobs. I'm not having it.
That was a beautiful song, until you fucking sang it.
Things you wouldn't want to hear at work.
Oh, you've already given Michael his dosage.
It's not a photocopier, it's a shredder. And what have you done to your arse?
So, you probably want to know how I got the nickname Dog Botherer.
Imagine that. My first day at work, and I appear to have slipped on a wet floor. I think I might be entitled to compensation.
Do you mind if I leave early? I've got to pick up the kids before their parents get there.
He's the CEO, he's the COO, and I'm head of the agricultural division, the CIEIO.
I want you all to put down those football bits that you've been sewing, because I've heard that it's somebody's very special 11th birthday. And we've got you a photo of a cake. Punchawaho, chongwa, punchawaho.
Don't worry, this isn't the first operation I've done. Last time I got almost the whole way round before the buzzer went off.
We've run out of semi-skimmed, so I've topped your coffee up with breast milk.
What do you mean it's not your turn to make the coffee? This is fucking Starbucks.
Get off your shit!
Whoops! This air traffic control thing's not as easy as it looks.
I've always wanted to work in a library! If only I could read!
OK, the next topic is unlikely things to hear on a property programme.
Next, Cash in the attic. Tennis player Pat Cash has a nervous breakdown and decides to haunt his estranged family.
Today, we help Al McGrahy swap his one-bedroom cell for a Libyan place in the sun.
This couple's grand design is to turn an abattoir into an old folks' home by changing the sign.
I'm Sarah Beanie, and I'm not pregnant.
You can't decide between the two properties? Well, you're an MP. Why don't you claim for them both?
Thing is, I have actually heard that in a property programme in Scotland. And remember, the prices of property can go down as well as plummet.
You know, I said those ghastly beams, what on earth are they for? It turns out they were for holding your house up.
Hello, I'm Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen, and I'm so posh I've actually got a swan for a penis.
Michael has always wanted to live in the country, and now he does. His business has collapsed, and he's living in a caravan in a field in Herefordshire.
Even on a collapsing market, you can still make money from a flat like this. We invited 3 different estate agents to come and value it, then harvested their organs.
Welcome to this episode of Holmes Under the Hammer, where we attack Eamon Holmes with a hammer.
Next on Location, 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 Kirsty and Phil finally go at it like dogs.
And obviously this will all be included in the deal. Oh my God, it's back early. Quick, out of garden!
Well, we've visited 5 properties so far, but they've all had alarms, so no joy there.
Very spacious and with wonderful views, but this flat is in Dundee, so it might as well be built out of shit.
Rejected questions from this year's exams.
What colour does a Smurf go when we choke it?
Translate the following into German. 2 world wars and 1 World Cup. Doodah, doodah.
How many pepperami big boys could you feed to Victoria Beckham through a tube before she became visible to the human eye?
What is the name of the force that pulls objects towards the centre of the Earth? Is it A, gravity, or B, magic?
Katie Price is supposedly worth £8.5 million and has got a thriving TV career. Explain.
If George Michael leaves at 8 o'clock for a 5-mile drive, when does he crash?
There are 6 lines of equal length. How long will Kerry Katona be in the bathroom?
If a train is going at 70 miles per hour, how surprised would you be?
What is amnesia? Is it A, memory loss, A, memory loss, or 4, the Battle of Hastings?
If Sally buys 3 oranges and 2 apples, how far south of Scotland is she?
Discuss the idea that Willy Wonka was a paedophile.
What is amnesia? Is it A, memory loss,
Draw a diagram of the male genitalia. Please use the tracing paper provided.
What are most Canadians renowned for saying? A.
English. Is standards declining?
Hitler, Pol Pot, Genghis Khan. Shag, marry or kill.
There's a wedding where Jane invites 20 guests and her partner Helen invites 40 guests. How angry is God?
The next topic is unlikely things to hear on a TV business show.
Well, the footsie has had its best day since March. It went shopping, had lunch with friends and took in a show before shagging a complete stranger it met in a bar.
Our invention lets you know whether or not a girl fancies you. We call it beer.
OK, Dragons, I've developed a system that lets you get your own seat on the bus, and it involves talking slightly too loudly, then pissing yourself.
This morning, I'm asking for £500,000. And with that, I will buy 500,000 lottery tickets.
Good evening, Dragon. Oh, jeez, what the hell is that? That's Evan Davis, the host? I'm out.
OK, we may have lost some money promoting Michael Jackson 02, but let's face it, I've just signed a deal for the new Oasis tour.
Hello and welcome to Working Lunch, a show for people who are so good at business they're sat at home watching the TV in the middle of the fucking day.
Dragons, I have 3 words for you. Reggae, reggae condoms.
The last task was easy, and yet you cocked it up. I only asked you to blow the bloody doors up.
This week, the Dragons meet a retired Nigerian brigadier with an offer that sounds too good to be true.
Today, there was a hard drop on the footsie, and I got a bruisey on my handy-wandy.
This week, the apprentices face their toughest task ever, selling the shite Sir Alan actually makes.
Bad things to hear from a tour guide.
Please don't take photos of the natives, because they believe that you're taking part of their soul. Apart from that, enjoy Norwich.
Hello, my name's Janet. I'm your holiday rep, and basically, I'll be giving out morning after pills like they were Smarties.
Good morning. I'm afraid this is the loudest.
Venice is a most historical city, famous for its... Oh, shit, it's flooded. Everyone get back on the bus.
A lot of you will be wondering why there are so many wonderful foreign treasures on display here at the British Museum. And the answer is quite simple, really. Gun beats spear.
Don't worry, this castle does cater for the disabled. They bring you a sandwich while the rest of us go up the steps to look at it.
Let's have a little song, shall we?
Coming up later on, we've got the topless donkey derby and who's got the funniest willy competition. Yes, it's going to be the best saga holiday you've ever had.
I know that a lot of you can't bear to leave Thailand, which is why I've hidden drugs randomly in your luggage.
And as we enter the next room, I need you all to be very quiet because we have technically broken in.
If you need anything at all, I'll be under your bed.
And if you look out of the window on your left, you'll see the side of the road that we should be driving on.
Of course, you have to respect local customs. On the right-hand side, you'll see a woman being burnt at the stake, and on the left, Dundee Town Hall.
Well, this is the deepest, darkest bit of the caves. And unless you give me £20 each, it's where you're staying.
And according to Wikipedia, the East Wing was built in the year Dougie is a homo.
We're now leaving the green zone. Pop on your flak jackets. This is the real Baghdad.
An adult and 2 children is £10. But enough about my trip to Cambodia.
Our next topic is unlikely things to hear on a breakfast show.
If the woman I picked up last night is watching, help yourself to cereal, but get out of the flat by the time I get home.
And now it's time for Thought for the Day. That was a good one.
You're listening to Six Music. Yes, you. Just you.
Welcome to Travel Report. We've got a text here from Dave on the M5 who says, ha ha ha, every morning you leave for work, I pop round and shag your wife.
So if you're trying to get in via Junction 2, stop it. It's against nature, and the Bible says no.
Next, we speak to Fern Britton about having her stomach stapled, this time to an enormous chocolate cake.
In other traffic news, if you're on the M11 headed towards Middlesbrough, I would turn around because it's a shithole.
Hello, I'm doing a survey into the effects of replacing milk on your Weetabix with Red Bull!
And we can see there's been an accident northbound on the M1, and it is a beauty.
Welcome to Radio Tourette's, you shit monkeys.
You may think of it as a breakfast show. I had mine at 4:30.
Later, Vanessa Feltz will be joining me on the settee, and I'll be bouncing through the fucking ceiling.
Lines you wouldn't hear in a horror movie.
Get out of the water, quick! Is it a shark? It's Barrymore!
I am Lucifer, Lord of the Night. And tonight I'll be singing Complicated by Avril Lavigne.
Dave, wake up. I think I can hear a noise downstairs. Wake up. Oh, hold on. No, it's just the washing machine. I put it on earlier on.
He's making a suit out of women's skin. Gok Wan has gone too far this time.
I am from Transylvania and I will suck you dry. Oh, yes? And what about your cheeky sister?
No, I'm sorry, Freddie. I think your sat-nav's on the blink. This is Elm Crescent.
The child is vomiting, its head is rotating, and it seems to be possessed by the devil. However, Britain's social services have visited 20 times, and they think everything's okay.
I'm here to fix the hinges.
As a vampire, I cannot bear direct sunlight, which is why I moved to Scotland. But now I can't find any virgins.
Red Rum is over the last and wins the national.
From the makers of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre comes the Swindon Lawnmower Kerfuffle.
This potion that turns you from Dr. Jekyll into Mr. Hyde, it looks a lot like 6 cans of Stella.
Stay away from the castle. The cafe's overpriced and the gift shop shits.
The next topic is unlikely things to hear on a children's TV programme.
We have John Craven. If you want to see him again, press the red button.
This drawing has been sent in by Robert, age 9. That's a shit drawing, Robert. They're children your age in China who can make shoes.
This week's episode of Thomas the Tank Engine has been cancelled and replaced by Ronald, the replacement bus service.
No, it's not Bagpuss, but it is a dead cat I've turned into a bag.
There's a rumour that the Teletubbies have been infiltrated by Al-Qaeda. Have you, Tinky Winky? Loo-loo-loo-loo-loo. Have you, Dipsy? Loo-loo-loo-loo-loo. Rashid?
And remember, while crystal meth is a lovely treat, it is very bad for your teeth.
Flobber-dobber-dob, said Bill. Bloody foreigners, said Ben.
Flobber-dobber-dobber-dob, said Ben, because he'd had a stroke.
And today, children, we're going to be learning where babies come from. Part 1, foreplay.
This year, we're sending condoms to Africa. So just ask your mum and dad to wash a couple out and send them in.
Are your mummy and daddy out of the room? Good. Listen, you're adopted.
Next up, Sharpie and Ryan take their audition failure very badly in Columbine High School Musical.
Things you wouldn't hear at a party conference.
Blackpool's nice, isn't it?
Unlike other party leaders I could mention, I am not a slave to the auto cue. Smile, pause, applause.
Would you please welcome the man who's made the Conservatives an electable force again, Gordon Brown!
I'm going to turn my back for 1 minute, and I want whoever stole David Blunkett's dog to put it back.
The delegates were so impressed by Ming Campbell's speech that they gave him a 10-minute standing cremation.
Kiss the baby. No, I'd better not. It might set my tag off.
Well, I must say, on this issue, I'm with Al-Qaeda.
So, for Scottish independence and cheaper parking, vote S, NCP.
In an attempt to be more like Barack Obama, Gordon Brown has sensationally blacked up.
And I do believe we are the only party who are going to do anything about the amount of unemployed dwarves in this country. In fact, I saw one just outside holding a sign that said, "No job, too small."
We're going to open this BNP conference with a prayer, so if you'd all like to turn towards Mecca.
OK. The next topic is unlikely things to hear on a history documentary.
Now follows a documentary about the Queen Mother, which contains nudity and strong language from the start.
And it was here, at this exact spot that faced with 30,000 baying Frenchmen, that Henry V shat himself.
On the first day of the Battle of the Somme, over 60,000 documentaries were commissioned.
I was in the parachute regiment. I was dropped over occupied territory. 4,000 feet, 3,000, 2,000. I pulled the cord. Make a ghoul titan.
Two world wars and one World Cup. Doodah.
And it was actually here, in this very tower, that the princes were slaughtered. William on Red Bull and vodka and...
1547. Nostradamus predicts the rock group the Kaiser Chiefs. He also predicts a riot.
On one side of battle stood William of Orange. On the other side, Charles of O2 and Richard of Vodafone.
The final outcome of the Second World War has changed the world forever. So, if you don't want to know the result, look away now.
Next, Eva Braun, the inventor of the lady shave.
So it was my job to assassinate Himmler. So I stood behind the tree and waited for his car to come round the corner. Then I leapt out and I said, "Boo!" Sometimes all we had was the element of surprise.
Napoleon was imprisoned in St. Helena, which was extremely uncomfortable for her. Her head was pointy, and he never took his boots off.
The Loch Ness Monster. Fact or fiction? Fiction. Good night.
Of course, during the war, I was brought up in Dorset. None of us expected the surprise Japanese attack on Poole Harbour.
At the end of that round, the points go to David, Hugh and Milton.